It's 10:40 at night and I'm in my one-bedroom apartment that the relevant bodies have received complaints about since 2020, and the issue is not with it just being a place of disturbances of individuals, repeat offenders, culprits of offence against my child, representatives of agencies that have been facilitating spiritual violence against my body and that have been inflicting isolation, obstruction and defamation against my character, as well as antagonism in a retaliatory measure. Now, as I've mentioned, I'm a sacred light worker, I'm a sacred royal, and this community has had about 4 or 5 different vendettas of spiritual violence at play in this community, and they've also been violating human rights. So there's an issue tonight again with my apartment having the experience of disturbances that the culprits of this community have been causing with their aspirations for my spiritual purpose by means of spiritual violence against my bodily integrity and by means of disturbances of the peace and antagonism. Now, they're blatantly breaking the law. They're antagonizing a situation that is already quite delicate due to the nature of other individuals being part of the bigger picture with regard to how they have benefited, prospered, exploited, gained, stolen, taken, trespassed, intruded upon my patronage. So there's a very serious issue that the GSOC representatives have been notified since 2017. The government has heard from me since 2017, and the issue is about the medical negligence, the unlawful detainments, the unlawful actions, the missing child that I gave birth to that I haven't seen and that I don't know about. It's also about the individuals of spiritual aspirations, praying in a new form for acceptance in the realm of my purpose, where they have disrespected and damaged and gained and exploited. So they're culprits that have been abusing politics also in this situation, and they've been violating very serious declarations and formulas for civil society. So as I've mentioned, they've used my purpose, my privacy, my gifts, light and blessings for their monetary gains. And only this morning I did a recent checkup on this entire matter of treason that I'm encountering, as I've explained, this abode has been used as a new attempt for a further treasonous event against my spiritual purpose. So there have been failed attempts already in the past 4 years, and they're still persisting without respect for the new progress that's happened, and they're not respecting the spiritual dimension, the spiritual laws, the spiritual principles, and they're trying to claim notoriety in their endeavours as frauds. So this is very dangerous for other people, other children's lives as well. And I'm very surprised that any respectable, self-dignified professionals, politicians, practitioners of any stage or category of society would be accommodating what I am enduring at the ignorance, blatant ignorance of these individuals that are obnoxious in their endeavours also to avoid acknowledging that they don't own the properties that they're trespassing on. They do not own farm holdings where they are trespassing, and they do not have right to discuss, negotiate royal patronage of Fernan and my other extended families. So there's a very dangerous issue of treason occurring, and people in this building that are claiming to have a place of authority as they've newly arrived to exacerbate the storyline of this situation. I've been here since 2019. The relevant bodies have heard about this problem since 2020, and there has been nothing done about it, and there's been incessant violence against the anatomy and spiritual identity of Maria McElligott here in this upload, and my child is still missing. So there are people in this building that have just arrived. And the guards are now being notified, the Department of Justice, etc., all of the relevant bodies of the United Nations are being made aware of threats in society that have been contaminating society with their drug abuse as well, I might add. So as a recovery advocate, these individuals in my proximity that have poisoned society with their dirty drugs, and I'll say no more, are not exactly ideal candidates to be accommodated, especially when they've also been monetizing from spiritual light of my spiritual purpose and my sacred royalty and my identity. So there are threats to people's safety as a consequence of these people being accommodated. Now, any experts that think they're progressing with any practices to facilitate these kind of people that have facilitated poison throughout society, that we're all very well aware of. The contamination of drugs is very dangerous, and as a recovery advocate of sanity and sobriety, I've had awful, grievous opinions about it, and individuals that even in my family home used substance abuse and addicts to attain from my spiritual light body for their monetary gains in artificial intelligence development and research that is a violation of people's privacy and information, and that are currently, with their new techniques, perverting my privacy in my one-bedroom apartment. So there are people in this building that are not to be safely acknowledged in any respect for the well-being of other people's lives. There is a very dangerous implication for a law-abiding citizen, a property owner, a married mother being violated by individuals of acquisitions, theft and fraud, repeat incidents of financial theft and fraud. We also know that that was uncovered as a consequence of my work in 2018, as well as the issue of the contamination throughout society of their other business ventures. So those individuals that are in my proximity that have been masquerading themselves with a new reformed identity and that are presenting a fallacy, a very dangerous spiritual fallacy, and we've all heard the fallacies in the past. We have God, we have the devil, we have the fallen angel Lucifer. All of these things, I find it very fascinating that these kind of people are still being silly in society with fraudulent identities of their spiritual aspirations, of which they are not. So just to make it clear, there's a very dangerous issue for society as a consequence of people in my proximity that shouldn't be. And the United Nations, I hope you know the sinister nature of this matter. There is by no means any individuals in any legal position, be he the leader of the country or be he the best doctor in the world, there isn't any individual in a position to discuss royal patronage of a sacred royal. And the issue of a missing child is quite serious, that GSOC are aware of since 2017. So I hope the United Nations is fully aware of the implications of this matter being waylaid, or, you know, blind eye kind of an issue. It's very serious what they've done in Tralee, County Kerry yet again, and this is the second very dangerous offence since 2006. So I hope everyone's being really sensible. I hope everyone's being really, conscious of their ethics code, the codes of behaviour and morals. Particularly the politicians of the Honourable Government of Ireland that have obligations to my royal patronage in Tubriid Hill and Kilflynn. So that's my upload for the moment. I really hope the United Nations understands how dangerous the circumstance liabilities in Tralee have caused for other people as well as myself, with their bad gains and bad business and bad politics, and not to mention their bad behaviours, thoughts, words and actions.